What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Ryan Ripken Show. I am not Ryan Ripken. Dramatic pause. I am Brad Smith, co-founder, executive producer of the Ryan Ripken Show, and I am all by myself because that's how it goes on a Monday when Ryan is out of town on his honeymoon and Zach is not here either. But he is here in spirit. What's going on, Zach?
How's it going? Yeah, I'm trying to get through the snow. That's for sure. We are snowed in here.
Oh,
yeah, snowed in. Yeah, snowed in here. We actually Saturday. I was not expecting. I think we ended up getting like 8 inches of snow here in Ohio, which I was not prepared for. And then it has been feels like I think yesterday feels like -2 outside.
Yeah.
So it is.
It's not that much different here.
Yeah. So it's been staying warm, staying as warm as possible, trying to stay out of the snow. But man, what a wild weekend of sports we had.
A wild weekend of sports. We're still kind of getting over that hangover from winter meetings, and there's still moves being made, and there's just been all kinds of weird stuff happening, Zach. From injuries, which we'll talk about, to hey, we still have no idea who actually is the favorite to win a Super Bowl, or maybe even just go to the Super Bowl. It's the first time since 1998 that either Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, or Patrick Mahomes is not in the playoffs. What is going on in the world of football? Also, baseball is still a little bit of drama going on. Pete Alonso said that it wasn't a hesitation to say yes to signing on with the Orioles, and Edwin Diaz kind of said the same thing. So does it suck to play for the Mets right now? We'll talk about that. Also, Phillip Rivers, old man Rivers, is just playing like he's young man Rivers. We'll talk about that too. And then, of course, on the Ravens side of the ball, first time Joe Burrow has been shut out in his career, which is kind of wild. And he's also had some cryptic things being said. We tried to have Draymond Jones on the show today. Apparently, Zach, there's birthdays going on. There's 2-year-old birthday parties going on. I tried to get Nick on too. I was talking to Nick, and there's apparently joint 2-year-old birthday parties going on between a lot of the other kids on the team. So, hey, listen, priorities. I get it. But listen, what do you want to start off with?
I think let's start off in the NFL. I mean, what a wild, wacky Sunday. I mean, obviously, injuries aside, we had things like kind of what you mentioned, first time since what was that, 1998?
Since before you were born, Zach.
Yeah, that's crazy. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, so unbelievable that they're not in the playoffs that Chris Jones didn't even know. And that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Like the Chiefs, we talked about it, and it felt like one of those things where in the previous weeks we kept on saying the Chiefs, maybe this is the year they really don't make it. But kind of in the back of your mind, you're like, how are they going to pull this off? You just felt like they were going to pull some, rabbit out of a hat, something to get in the playoffs. But here we go, December 15th, and the Chiefs are eliminated from playoffs. Even in the worst case scenarios in my mind before the season, that wasn't happening.
Yeah, well, and you kind of saw the writing on the wall with the Chiefs last year. I won't even talk about this year, but last year they won a lot of one-score games, and they were just somehow able to squeak them out, and then ended up carrying that over into the playoffs because, hey, they've been there since 2015. They knew how to win the playoffs, so that wasn't surprising that they got there. But just kind of seeing how they played last year and then going into this year, it's not really a surprise to see them underperforming. But we'll see. I mean, obviously, Patrick Mahomes, as many of you guys have seen, if you didn't, towards ACL. So there's expectations that maybe he'll start the season next season. I'm not one of those people. I think that we'll see in week 3, week 4 of next season.
Yeah,
possibly. Because, if you try to rush that back, it's not going to look good. If he does start the season, I don't think he'll be the Patrick Mahomes that we're used to seeing. So, yeah, man, I mean, I think it's interesting. Look, the AFC West, we talked about at the beginning of the year, it's wide open. It was at the beginning of the year. And the Denver Broncos obviously have just dominated that division this year. But the Chargers are also very dangerous. And here you are with the Chiefs not even making the playoffs with 3 weeks left to go in the season.
Yeah, and it's, I think you hit the nail on the head there. This season feels like it vindicated last season, and the fact of like the eye test last year, you were looking, and it's like that meme where from Breaking Bad where it's like he can't keep getting away with this. Like they're dead and they're done, everything. Crazy pass interference call. I remember, what was that, against the Bengals last year, where the Bengals were about to beat them. It was like 4th and 20. And all of a sudden there's a pass interference call. They kick the game-winning field goal. There were field goal blocks last year to win games. And you're sitting there and you're like, they can't keep getting away with this. Like, they are not this much better than all the other teams, even though the record says they are. And then they get into the playoffs and they just squeak by. They find a way. Then they get to the Super Bowl. The Eagles have their absolute way with them. I mean, we were down there and it felt like pretty much on the Monday beforehand, you felt a different vibe of like, oh, the Eagles, this is the entire city of Philadelphia felt like it was in New Orleans last year. So it just had that feeling of like, are we watching the end of it for the Chiefs? They started out even slower this year. And, obviously different situations because the Ravens are bailed out by the fact that no one in the AFC North wants to win football games right now. That keeps them in it, but it's not like, the Chiefs just kind of fell flat. They never got going again. And now we kind of joked about before coming on air, Christmas Day, it went from, okay, you got the Chiefs on, the America's sweethearts, you got Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift's fiance now is going to be, and now it's like you're watching Gardner Minshew play meaningless football because the Chiefs are already done.
On Christmas. Yeah. So that actually kind of begs the question. I mean, Travis Kelce, this is it for him, right?
I want to say yes, but I almost feel like this is going to be his why. I think Travis Kelce is going to be, because he's actually, not that it necessarily matters, he's tight end 2 in fantasy, so he's had a decently productive year. I think Travis Kelce is going to be one of those where the game leaves him before he leaves the game. Like I could see him next year coming out there, and by halfway through the season, it's tough to watch. Like an injured coming back Mahomes trying to put it all together one last time with Kelce. And then you're really going to get the sense of like, oh, they need to stop like this. They need to move on. It should be done for Kelce
this year though, too. Like Kelce was not getting open like he used to, not really catching the ball like he used to. One of those interceptions was caused by him. It just feels like this could be it. I mean, he's getting married in June. Maybe he just rides off in the sunset, gets married, starts his family, all that good stuff. I don't know. That's just me. But it will be interesting because we've seen this before from elite quarterbacks such as Tom Brady, where like you go in. This is the only year that Tom Brady missed the playoffs other than his last year was the ACL year for Tom Brady. And this could very well be it for Patrick Mahomes, where he has that torn ACL, comes back, and then continues to light the world on fire. I hope that's not the case as a Ravens fan, but you just can't help but wonder if that's what happens.
Yeah, and I will say I love the stat where Tom Brady never took a snap while mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, and because of the injury, now Mahomes is going to continue his streak because he's never – That's one way to keep the streak going. Yeah. That's for sure. But I agree. I think next year is going to be this offseason is going to be so intriguing with the Kansas City Chiefs. Because where do you go? I mean, we talked about before we came on air, there isn't one spot where I look at them and I'm like, okay, they fill that, they fix up the O-line, they're back. Yeah. Oh, they fix up the back end of their defense, they're back. Feels like they've been getting beaten in a lot of ways this season.
Here's what I'll say to that. I think it's the run game. They fixed the run game. Yeah. They're a brand new team.
I agree.
They haven't had a run game all season, and they didn't really have it last year either. They get that run game back, that Jamal Charles, Kareem Hunt type run game, and the Chiefs are back all the way. I think that's what fixes it.
Yeah, I mean, their run game this year has been okay. I mean, especially after week 6, once they got Rashee Rice back, it just became, okay, it's 3rd and 1, it's 3rd and 2. It's not let's run the ball up the middle. It's let's throw a drag route to Rashee Rice because we rely on that more than we rely on one of our running backs being able to hit the hole and go get us the yard. So, I mean, I would hate absolutely. It would be awesome for them, but I would hate if a Jeremiah Love fell to them in the first round, because that just feels like one of those guys that just, we made the comparison to obviously Brady's quote unquote second career after the ACL, and he was going into his 30s, and you're like, oh, is this it for Brady? Then he just went on a whole different run. I feel like that could ignite something like that. So for the league, hope that doesn't happen. But yeah, I agree. If they get that run game going, it changes that team's offensive dynamic so much.
Yeah, hit that like and subscribe button if you guys are joining for the first time. I see RA Party says that this dude was fire. Listen, I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but when Rip's not here, we know how to bring the show. We're always efficient. Somehow the show ends up being a half hour shorter than it usually is, because a lot of this happens.
Oh yeah,
from our fearless leader. But if you guys are wondering where Ryan is out on his honeymoon. They scheduled the honeymoon later from their actual wedding day, and they're out in Paris and Switzerland and all doing all this other stuff. I'm sure he'll tell you all about it when he's back. But if you haven't seen his IG, it's all over the place. So I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know if you already follow him. That being said, so look, Chiefs are out of the playoffs, right? Yeah. This could open some doors for some new teams, some fresh faces, or maybe some ones that just haven't been able to get over the hump, like our Baltimore Ravens, your Baltimore Ravens, everyone's Baltimore Ravens. Look, I liked some things that I saw yesterday. It's obviously encouraging to see the defense shuts out Joe Burrow for the first time ever, which is kind of hard to believe that Joe Burrow's never been shut out before. But that offense yesterday looked just like the same old Ravens offense that we've seen since Lamar Jackson's injury. And I'm just not quite sure what's going on. I love that they got shut out. I love that it was 24-0. Can't take anything away from that. Yeah. The dance is still on as far as getting in the playoffs and even the division, depending on what the Steelers do today. But, still not feeling warm and fuzzy inside. What say you, Zach Bond?
No, I agree. I think the goose egg on the, scoreboard is great for morale.
Yeah.
But I agree. They weren't playing the 85 Bears. This was a good, quote unquote, revenge game, against the Bengals, who obviously beat them up very badly on Thanksgiving, an embarrassing loss there. But 17 points, and they left points on the board. The first half, it looked like the exact same story that you said since Lamar's injury, where they just couldn't get it going. And even when things were going well, the defense gets a big interception. Ball hits off Zay Flowers' hands, the most obvious catch he could have had, goes in the defender's hand. It's not all clicking. It's just not all clicking there offensively. I think the run game, they finally figured out, if we hand the ball to Keaton Mitchell and Derrick Henry, those two play off each other really well. I think there were signs that they're turning the table or turning the page, but it did, Lamar looked healthier finally. But it did feel like that offense, there's still a second gear. They can't go in playing this way. I know the defense looked great, all of that. I think the Bengals definitely, going for it more than they had to. Obviously the turnover, the Kyle Van Noy, Alohi going pick six, the Bengals realistically probably could have put up 14 points, made it a 7, and it would have been closer. I kept saying that yesterday. It's weird when you look at 24-0. It never felt like the game was, the Bengals are about to come back, but it definitely felt closer than what it was. It felt like the Bengals up until the 30,
4 times I think they got inside the 30-yard line.
Yeah. So there was opportunities where the Bengals very easily could have had 17 points. And then, there were the, Tavius Robinson sack in the early part of the game, put them out of field goal range. It did just feel like the Bengals were there. I think the defense, I also will say, man, were they towing the line of unnecessary roughness towards the end of the second quarter. I was just waiting for the flag. And it felt like one of those things where it was like, hey, you got away with one. Why are we doubling and tripling down? I was like, we are begging for the refs to throw a flag. And I was like, that, and it just felt like that's the story of the Ravens season. Opportunity to go into the half with a shutout, and then their late hit on Burrow and flag 15, give them all the momentum. I was like, I've seen this story before. Please stop giving the refs any opportunity to give them 15. Obviously, refs let them play. I mean, I think there was like 6 total penalties in the game, but chippy game. It felt like an AFC North game. I'll tell you that. It felt like an AFC North game.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? Draymond Jones. You would think that this guy was born a Raven or born an AFC North guy because he goes in there and what was it? Yeah, right at the end of the second quarter when the play you're talking about, and he's doing one of these things like cry about it to Joe Burrow, and at the end of the game tells Joe Burrow, "Hey, like we whooped up on your ass," as he's going to dab him up. Like that was awesome. Yeah. Like that it was Raven rivalry football.
I had forgotten that Draymond because I was like, oh, Draymond LSU Joe or Draymond Ohio State Joe LSU. Always forget Joe started at Ohio State and they played together. Because I was like, that's kind of crazy for him to just go up and be like, we would. And it's like former Ohio State teammates. And I was like, okay, that makes so much more sense. I was like, Draymond just really game hit 0, clock hit 0, and he was like, I'm still choosing violence. But yeah, I mean, the pass rush looked a lot better. The defense as a whole looked better. Obviously they didn't have Higgins, they didn't have their guys, but seeing a 0 on the scoreboard at the end of it, like just for morale purposes, for Zach Orr, I mean, give the guy credit. We have, and I think the entire media, all the landscapes we were talking about, fire him earlier this year. This is against a very good, with or without T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, I think still like elite quarterback. Jamar Chase, I don't think there's a better wide receiver in the game right now, all things considered. To get that 0, and I mean, Jamar still got his. I mean, he had a lot of yards, a lot of catches, but they limited the back-breaking. Joe Burrow throws a 15-yard slant to Jamar. He makes 3 guys miss, and now, and then we're watching him dance in the end zone. Yeah. So it was good. It was the Ravens epitomized bend, don't break yesterday. They let them down the field a lot, but they were able to just kind of stop it there.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, you and I think we're both like, Zach Orr's got to go. And I'm still not quite sure he's the guy yet. I mean, look, this one game isn't going to be like hey, this proved it to me, especially because even when you look at how that the Ravens defense has done lately, they're still the worst statistically in the league when it comes to points allowed and all that good stuff. So passing yards, we'll see how deep they go in the playoffs and how well the defense shows up against elite offenses before I'm like, okay, maybe Zach's figured it out. But against a team that was basically one game away from the playoff contention, and now they are officially basically out, right? Like there's no way they're coming back. They're officially out of the playoffs. So, I just great dub. Great that there was a shutout, no point score. But man, there's a lot of work that still needs to be done before I'm like, Zach Orr's the guy that I want back next year. So we'll see. Yeah. But look, there were some really fun moments of this game yesterday. One of them being the interception that you talked about with Kyle Van Noy and Aloy Gilman. Like that play, very Ed Reed like, but it was even more hilarious because it was more like Kyle Van Noy was like, I ain't running the distance here. My name is not Ed Reed, and I'm just going to hand it off to the guy who's got wheels and like let him do it. But the funny part is like he was too, I guess, anxious or had too much anxiety to actually lateral the ball. Instead, he'd rather just hand it to him like it's freaking Sandlot. You guys remember that scene? Yeah. But like that is exactly what happened. He's like he passed the baton over to Gilman, and it was a great pick.
Yeah, which I am all for because I mean, how many times in just across the NFL do we see a defender try to get too cute after everything?
Well, and Ed Reed's one of those guys.
Exactly. I mean, that play. So KVN tosses it back. Gilman isn't quite forward, hits off, slightly behind him, hits off his hand. Suddenly, Bengals have fresh set of downs at the 10. And you see that stuff happen all the time. So the handoff to Lohi, it was definitely, and I think Kyle even talked about it post game where he was like, I intercepted. I'm running up the field. And I'm like, that end zone is so far away. Like that is just a long way to go for this. Yeah. And he just saw Lohi asking for the ball. And it was like, not pitching this, but here, if you want to take it, go try to do something. Because I mean, in that moment, obviously fourth quarter, all of that. I don't know if it would have been too interesting at the end, but I mean, the Bengals, they score there. I think it's like 10 minutes left. It's 17-7. They get a stop and a quick score. Suddenly we're right back, and every Ravens fan is having deja vu of like, oh, massive lead late in the game all of a sudden. So it was good that they finally just were able to like get that turnover to just like be like, enough, game over. Like, we're done. Like this is out of here. And that's one of, the big play moments are what I took away more than necessarily Zach Orr and them are back. Like, oh, this was such a dominant performance. They bent a lot. Like Joe and them, they got their stats. Like they did their thing, but they were able to, when it mattered the most, whether it was a big sack, whether it was the interceptions, something like that. Heck, even Marlon Humphrey capitalizing on a tip ball that he catches for the interception. How many of those fall, and a guy hits off a guy's helmet, something, and the Ravens don't capitalize on that. So even the little things, it was like, at least they're doing the little things. It bounced their way and they capitalized on it. Besides, rather than we see it bounce their way and it hits off two defenders' hands and then it's 2nd and 10 instead of a turnover. Right. So it was good to just see that stuff continue.
Hey, up for the boys. We'll see what the Steelers do tonight. I'm hoping for my fantasy team that the Steelers shit the bed, because I need them to score 8 points or less. That's what needs to happen. That's what we're hoping for. Which, by the way, hey, listen, I know last week I had said that I was playing the worst team in the league. We talked about this, Zach, in the winter meetings. I said I was playing the worst team of the week. Automatic dub. And every single one of my players did not show up the last game before the season. My best player was Aubrey. It was a kicker that scored 24 points.
He had an insane game last week. He really did.
He was my best player, though.
Not so much this week, but
this week he was okay. It was just like your average kicker as far as points are concerned. But listen, hand up. My bad. That's what I get. That's what I get for saying that it was automatic dub. And
fantasy gods are always watching.
They sure are. But look, getting back to yesterday's game, Ravens had fun. Ravens fans had fun. You know who didn't have fun? Bengals fans. And it wasn't even just that they lost the game. Did you see this?
Yeah.
Look, everybody knows it snowed from basically Illinois all the way to the East Coast. And everybody got the memo, I guess, apparently, except for the Bengals organization, because they didn't clean off the snow from the seats for the fans, which apparently is an NFL rule that you have to do this. So it's not only is Joe Burrow not having fun playing football, but the fans were not having fun playing football either. And so the Bengals organization did not remove snow from the seats. The rule does require them to do so. Each club apparently is responsible for having snow removal plan in place and ensuring that its stadium has adequate snow removal equipment available. Snow and ice must be removed from the stadium before all games. And this applies to the playing field, sidelines, seating bowl, aisles, pedestrian ramps, walkways, and parking lots. This also applies to sideline. Snow may not be pushed into piles and remain against stadium walls as it interferes with the standard game or sideline operations. And this photo was taken from the field before the game. And it was one of those things where it's like, what the hell is going on here? This is typical Bengals behavior.
Yeah, I mean, this was, I think, what was it officially the coldest game at least the Ravens have ever played in? And
it was top 3 coldest games in Cincinnati for a football game.
Yeah, I mean, it was just historically cold, and I'm sure that snow did not help at all. I mean, it just had to be such a brutal experience for anyone. I felt bad for any fan who paid money to go watch that first half, especially that first quarter, because it was just two teams that were not playing good football.
I'm just like the snow point. Like, it's a rule. You got to have something in place.
Oh yeah.
The Bills, the Bills know how to take care of the snow. Like if you don't have a dome, you know how to take care of snow if you live in a cold state, like period. And this is just typical Bengals behavior. Like, we've seen this from their organization when it comes to their practice fields, which now they finally have something that's better than what they had. But like all the way up to a couple years ago, it was absolutely terrible facility, everything was outside. It was bad. And then you have something like this. We've heard horror stories from like the way that they treat their athletes, how they value them. And then like this, it's kind of like, oh, this is how we value the fans. We're not going to go out there and actually clean up the snow that you pay your hard-earned dollars for to watch us play. Like it's just crazy, man. Like it's just crazy. Like I said, typical Bengals behavior.
Yeah, it was the whole experience yesterday just seemed like a nightmare for everyone. I mean, because I was seeing pre-game interviews from different fans, and like people are in like 50 layers of clothing. So that by like that's not good for trying to shovel out your seat anyway if you got like 9 jackets on. But it just seemed like that entire day. Props to anyone who stayed, especially if you stayed all 60 minutes. I could not imagine, because I think wind chill and stuff, it was like -6 or something on the field.
Yeah.
And it's just what a tough viewing experience for even if you're a Ravens fan. I feel like that at some point when it was especially like 24-0, you're like, we can leave this game.
Hey, what warms you up? Winning warms you up, baby.
That sure feels a lot better in the cold.
Speaking of what warms you up, listen, the Chicago Bears fans are just looking at Cincinnati fans and being like, listen, that's warm to us. Because I don't know if you saw this, but at Soldier Field, there was a fan that went viral that opened up a bottle of Pepsi, immediately froze.
Yeah.
Immediately froze, became a slushie. And listen, speaking of who's hot in Chicago, Caleb Williams actually had a game.
Yeah.
Probably one of his best of his career. Look, I have been somebody that's been super critical of Caleb Williams. Yesterday, absolute show that guy put on against, by the way, one of the top 3 defenses in the NFL, probably top 2. I mean, I think it's Houston, Cleveland, and Seattle. Like, so those defenses are no joke. And Caleb Williams went in and went 17 for 28, threw for 242 yards, 2 tutties, and he had a passer rating of 112. I mean, guy had a great game. And look at this dot from Caleb Williams to DJ Moore. I mean, you can't make a throw any better than that. Obviously, DJ Moore goes up and makes that play. He's the only guy that's catching that ball. Only guy that's catching that ball. It was just an incredible throw. There's been a lot of questions as to whether or not the Bears are for real. And if Caleb Williams and the Bears offense can do stuff like this while the defense also remains elite, it could be a scary team in the NFC, especially considering that we still have no idea who's going to come out of the NFC to represent that conference in the Super Bowl.
I mean, the Bears this whole season, I mean, I feel like a broken record because we say it every week, but it feels like we're talking about a different team every week in this league. Like, we're like,
it's the Rams right now, right? It's the Rams, but like the Bears look damn good. The Bears look damn good. If what we saw the Rams and Bears in the NFC Championship game, that's going to be a good damn game.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like you look and like you can say, oh, well, they haven't played the best teams, and hand up. I was telling people before the game yesterday, I was like, I kind of think the Bears or the Browns win this one. Like, it just felt like Caleb Williams facing that dominant dominant Browns defense. It is just so cold. It doesn't feel comfortable. It just felt like a game where the Browns, their run game with Judkins, with Sampson, you work the tight ends in, you just play 13 personnel and just run the football. You let your defense get stops. And the Bears went out and had their way with them. Like, that was this Bears team. I got to get, we talked about it a little bit before we went on.
Man.
What a year for first time head coaches. Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen, these guys are turning things around quickly. Yeah. And it's been awesome to see.
It really has. Kind of makes you wonder about what, some of the narratives that have been going on. Look, and Mike Vrabel too, right? Like, obviously he's not a first-time head coach, but like, he took a year off with a new team for the first time this year. It's interesting. There's a lot of, criticism swirling around John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin right now because they're the longest tenured head coaches, and things might be getting stale in those environments. We'll see. John Harbaugh goes deep in the playoffs. He's not going anywhere. Verdict's still out on Mike Tomlin. If Mike Tomlin doesn't make the playoffs this year, I think that he probably is gone. I would be surprised. I mean, or just maybe not too surprised, but I
wouldn't be surprised because I feel like the Steelers are so stuck in their way.
They're loyal to a fault and at their own detriment.
And I think that's to the Ravens, to some, and it's a big Harbaugh thing. How many times have we sat there and we're like, man, you got to make a move this way, or you got to, and it's like the Falele thing. Like they're so painfully loyal. There are times where you felt like, okay, they got to move on from this coordinator, and they stick on to him for an extra year or so. And you're like, that's Greg Roman. Yeah. After 2020, 2021, everyone was kind of like, hey,
everybody's figured him out.
Yeah, like, let's get this going. It took them until 2022 after that to be like, yeah, maybe Greg Roman isn't the answer. And then they went on one of their best runs. I mean, 23 should have been the year they win it all.
It should have been. And I think they got Derrick Henry. Had they been able to trade for Derrick Henry that year, they would have won Super Bowl. Period.
Oh, I 1,000% agree. I want that. Although, I always say, because there's no way they would just let Derrick Henry not get the football in the fourth, and now we see them do that. So
yes.
I really hope we wouldn't.
In that situation, they had no other option than to run Derrick Henry because it was Justice Hill, and that was it.
I agree.
But Talking Sports says I would take Tomlin any day over Harbaugh. I don't know if that's Mike Tomlin makes some crazy decisions as well. His clock management, as we all know, is absolutely atrocious. I'm not sure if I'm taking that.
I think they're just both in the same category.
That's what I was about to say.
They raise your floor. They raise your floor, but I don't know if their ceiling is as high as it once was.
Here's what I will say, and I said this last week or the week before. Mike Tomlin has done so much more with less. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you think about the type of talent that Mike Tomlin has had over the last, let's just say, since Ben Roethlisberger left, it's been terrible. And the fact that he's been able to string together wins and still be above 500 with the likes of Kenny Pickett, Russell Wilson, and now like whatever the hell he's got on his roster this year, it is pretty damn impressive what Mike Tomlin has been able to do with how little talent he's had surrounding around that team. So, not taking anything away from what Mike Tomlin can do for a team. If he does get fired, he's going to somewhere where he's going to turn that team around. I don't know where that is. There
would be teams that, and I say this about Harbaugh too. If let's say something happens and Harbaugh and Tomlin both hit the open market, there will be teams that fire their head coaches to get an opportunity to interview them.
Oh yeah,
like that. They will be the most sought after because everyone's going to look at the Andy Reid. So hey, Mike Vrabel.
Hey, listen,
it didn't work out there, but it works out here.
The Browns could do the funniest thing ever. That's all I'm saying. The Browns could fire Kevin Stefanski.
But I think they're going to. I think they're going to either way. I think the
Stefanski's gone. Yeah.
I will say
the shame too because he hasn't had a quarterback worth a damn his entire tenure, really. Yeah. The fact that he got to the playoffs with Joe Flacco was a damn miracle. That was the year he became coach of the year. He's another one. Just has nothing to really work with. Yeah, you had Deshaun Watson for five minutes, and even in that 5 minutes, he was not good.
The funniest outcome to me would still be Harbaugh parting ways. He'll never get fired. They'll mutually part ways.
Yes.
And going and coaching Michigan. That would be the funniest. Of course, another Harbaugh taking over Michigan. I will say though, because I've realized college football fans live in a different universe than everyone else. Because I've seen so many Michigan fans with a straight face and dead seriously be like, well, it's time to make the call to Mike Mack and get him back here. He's the heir. And it's don't think he's leaving Seattle. He's got something pretty nice there. Don't know if he's going back into college when he's having success at the NFL. But
no.
Yeah, that would be something if, Harbaugh to Michigan, the other Harbaugh.
Yeah. Would anybody really be surprised? Because I would.
I wouldn't. No.
With that being said, we do have a couple more football stories to talk about, but I also want to turn everybody's attention to who's sponsoring our football segment, and that is Merit Clubs, meritclubs.com. If you guys haven't checked out Merit Clubs, you got to go do it. I don't know what promos were running with Merit Clubs. Rip didn't let me know, but I just still wanted to give Merit Clubs a shout out.
I just kept saying last week, I was like, go check out we got promotions going on through the new year. So go check them out.
We do have those happening. Yes. There is always something that they're providing for our viewers. So if you guys are in the Baltimore area, go check out meritclubs.com and go get yourself in shape. Get rid of that dad bod like I'm trying to do. All right. So listen, like I said, we got a couple more football stories to chat about. One of them being Old Man Rivers, bro. Going in and almost coming back to beat that elite defense in the Seattle Seahawks. I won't say that Phillip Rivers looked like he was Phillip Rivers of old. He's the Phillip Rivers of new, and that is Old Man Rivers. Looked pretty damn good out there. Didn't try to do anything fancy. He had a couple of short dump passes, a couple slants, but guys were just open. Jonathan Taylor at least gave him opportunities for some play actions, that sort of thing. And he kept them close, almost to the point where they pulled out a win. And there was a lot of criticism the Colts drew from bringing back a guy who hadn't played in 1,800 days or something like that.
Yeah.
I hadn't taken a snap in 1,800 days. And Phillip Rivers does look like he's got a dad bod.
I was watching football with my girlfriend, and we just kept on talking about that. I was like, he literally looks like if you took a regular 44, like his pads don't look like they're the same as other players' pads. Like he just looks like you gave a guy like a Halloween costume, like, yeah, you're playing for the Colts today. And it's like he just went out there. He had that one moment on the drop back, 3-step drop back, where he just tripped over his own feet and fell forward. Yeah. That was the only time you really were like, okay, Rivers is doing this. It was actually funny. No, that's not. I like his comment about that. They asked him about if he feels like he was in shape and stuff like that, and how much he weighed. And he was like, yeah, I definitely weigh a lot more than when I stepped off. And he goes, but I wasn't running away from defenders back then either. So like that shouldn't be too much of I will say still got that super weird release. I saw people talking about he's had that weird release and it's worked for him. So it looked, I'm sure there were people who didn't maybe watch football back, 5 years ago, who probably saw Phillip Rivers release and was like, what is he doing with the football? And you have to explain, like, he was doing that at his prime. Like he has always had the weirdest throwing motion ever, and that ball was floating yesterday. It made it to its target somehow, but it felt like that thing. I think one of the Seahawks corners even said that. He was like, it was tough to adjust mid-game because it just moved differently than any other football in the league because it was much slower. It was like, and he's like, you overran things. You weren't on time with how you were doing things. You were hitting guys early because you were like, oh, the ball's going to be here once I hit him. You hit him and the ball's still 3 yards away. You're getting a flag. So it was I thoroughly enjoyed the Phillip Rivers experience. And it looks like they just announced he's going to be suiting up on Monday night again.
I mean, why not? He went 18 for 27 for his first time back in 5 years and 120 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. It wasn't like it was a horrible outing. Obviously not the greatest outing of all time, but it wasn't horrible, and he kept them in the game. I mean, almost won it. So why not? Why not keep him there? The Colts are still serious about winning, and I think a lot of people didn't take him seriously when they put Phillip Rivers in. But somebody was telling me too, or I was seeing it somewhere where I guess the offensive scheme is very complicated and it's very hard for someone coming in who's never been around that before to just jump in and take over. I don't know how easy it is for somebody who hasn't played a game in 5 years to do the same thing, but apparently it was easy enough for Phillip Rivers. But I would say that they know something we don't. So, but that being said, look, Phillip Rivers came in at the end of the game. I thought this was a great moment. He talked about, what it meant for him and the kids that he coaches. So let's take a listen to that.
This isn't the motivation, but I do think that maybe there'll be, I think about my own boys, my own two sons, but certainly it was a high school team I'm coaching, but this isn't why I'm doing it. Again, this is really, I know it comes with it, and I know it is a story, and I know it is rare and all those things, but I didn't do that. I wasn't searching. I was enjoying myself kind of down there being coach in South Alabama, but these kind of things don't come up. But obviously this doesn't come up every day, but I think maybe maybe it will, I don't know, inspire or teach, not to run or be scared of what may or may not happen, Hopefully, certainly I think of my sons and those ball players, that I'm in charge of at the school, that they'll say, like, crap, coach wasn't scared. You know what I mean? It's like, shoot, sometimes there is doubt, and it's real. And again, the guaranteed safe bet is to go home or to not go for it, and the other one is, shoot, let's see what happens, And so, I hope that in that sense that it can be a positive to some young boys, or young people. It doesn't have to be boys, but again, that's not the motivation. But whatever God's will, I'm happy with. But certainly going to quickly turn my attention to the 49ers. And I know it'll be a Monday night game. And hopefully Lucas Oil is rocking. I never got to experience that either in that COVID year. And we're going to scratch and fight and claw. I do know that, and not because I'm here, but I do know that any team I have ever been a part of, not because of me, but I've been a part of, will fight like crazy until they tell us the season's over.
So that is just, first of all, Phillip Rivers has not changed a bit since he left the NFL. That guy is still just as passionate as anything. But, man, how awesome is it for him to talk about, like, the high school kids that he coaches and everything else. Speaking of his high school kids, this is them reacting to Phillip Rivers throwing that touchdown. I mean, that is pretty awesome stuff there too. So, like, just kind of goes to show what exactly. Oh, hold on. Are we back?
Yeah, Gary.
Yeah, I think I just lost myself. So anyway, so that just goes to show how awesome of a moment that was with Phillip Rivers and the kids that he coaches as well, cheering him on. What a great moment, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, these are the moments of why we love sports. It's, stories like this where Phillip Rivers, it's like he said, he wasn't looking for an NFL starting job. He was not sitting there. We talk about some of these guys, heck, even Joe Flacco, where he's like, yeah, I let teams know in the offseason, like, I want to play. Like, Rivers had retired. He'd gone off into the sunset. He's coaching his sons, he's coaching a high school football team.
Yeah.
Suddenly, his old team, his old coach call him and like, hey, we want you. Like, we need help. Like, we need help. We don't trust anyone else available. Yeah. Like, we think you're the guy if you would want it. And for him to be like, hey, this is a lesson that everyone can learn from, and not being like, I know. And he said, he's like, I knew this was going to be a story, but I wasn't trying to make it a story about him. Right. Trying to make it a story about, like, hey, opportunity. I've heard him talk about before in his introductory press conference last week. He was like, I never thought I'd play football again. And at the highest level, that door opened, and I was given the opportunity of walk through it and see what the heck happens, or don't, and that door's closed forever. And he's like, yep. I wanted to see what it was going to be like. He knew that he could have taken a single hit on Sunday. All of a sudden, everything in his body is like, nope, we're not an NFL quarterback anymore. He gets hurt, and he's like, well, we tried. That's a possibility. But he also had the potential. I mean, unfortunately, if it wasn't for an incredible 40-second drive by the Seahawks, he would have led a game-winning drive like that. The storyline we could have been talking about today, if the Seahawks don't hit that kick, is about how Phillip Rivers against the team, they were plus 810 to win. Like that 8-1 odds to win that game. This was supposed to be a blowout. And for him to manage the game, I mean, you watched him, and the mind has never left. No. Like, that's the thing. He was making audibles. He was making calls. He was adjusting the line. He was doing all that. Like, it's been 2 weeks or 5 weeks since I have 5 years. And I think that's where the advantage was, is you weren't throwing anything at him that he has not seen here, already. Yeah, exactly. I saw him multiple times. Like, yeah, he would check into something and it's a 5-yard check down. Okay, well, he checked into it and got a 5-yard check down that a younger quarterback, he runs the same play that was called and he gets sacked for 4 yards. And it's like, that's a big difference.
Overextend the play, right? Like, I mean, I think that's exactly right. But it's cool. We'll see what he does on Monday Night Football next week. Hey, listen, what do you say we get into some around Maryland stuff?
Let's do it.
So around Maryland, whoops, sorry that you had it. What is brought to you by Next Move Charm City. Let's see if I can get this right. Listen, Ryan's not here, so the substitute teacher is going to try to run with it. All right. Whether you're looking for a home or buying a home in city, suburbs, or shore, Next Move Charm City's got you handled along with the Loan Depot, and that's all I got, ladies and gentlemen.
I love it.
Listen, I got the important parts down. So shout out to Next Move Charm City, those folks over there for helping support the show. But listen, man, there are some things going around Maryland, and it's kind of twofold because there is a Baltimore Orioles prospect talking about a Maryland signing. So we got like a double Maryland kind of piece of news going on, and that's Enrique Bradfield Jr. talking about the Malik Washington signing for the Terps. This is actually some pretty crazy stuff. So if you guys didn't see, Malik Washington did sign a new deal with the Terps football, and Enrique Bradfield Jr., who is center fielder for Orioles for AAA, and says agreeing to deals in college is a joke. This is, again, reacting to Malik Washington agreeing to a deal with the Terps in 2026. And look, we've talked about this a lot, Zach, on the channel about, just college sports in general, the NIL deals and stuff like that that's happening. But it is kind of comical to see how this is happening. It's interesting that Enrique Bradfield Jr. is commenting on this about how it is a joke. It's kind of crazy to watch.
Yeah, and he's not wrong at all. I mean, we saw that with the last year, we had our first ever holdout in college football. Yeah, when Nico, I'm not going to try to say his last name, not going to embarrass myself like that, goes from Tennessee to UCLA because he was like, hey, I want X amount of millions of dollars. If you don't meet that, I will go to somewhere that can give me that. And so we do have these. I mean, how many times, unfortunately, over the past few weeks, I've seen so-and-so has agreed to a deal to stay, or so-and-so X school has offered X player this deal, hoping, they're in negotiations. We're negotiating with 19-year-olds. Like, these are 18, 19-year-olds that are getting negotiations. I mean, so many things with the recruiting. I mean, I think it was Nevada's head coach. They were asking him about how do you recruit? And he was like, I'm straight up with the players. I tell them, you come here, you develop. In 2 years, you're going to get $2 million to go to Oregon. Like, that's what these schools are doing now. Yeah. And it's changed everything. We thought they were on a fast track to free agency. I think we got here way faster than I even thought. I thought it was going to be a few more years before we start doing this. And I agree. Brad, I think we are maybe a year or two away from getting to the point where it's so-and-so has agreed to a 2-year deal. Guys commit. If we're giving you $5 million, I want to know you're here for the next. Now, if we fire our coach, that voids you of your, whatever. But we got to start getting. I'm so tired of seeing guys. It's like this is their 5th school in 5 years.
Well, this sparked a lot of criticism, Zach. So if we take a look at what Enrique Bradfield has said in response to some people that were kind of chirping at him, says, well, somebody had said that you didn't agree to a deal when you were signed at Vanderbilt. And he kind of clapped back and says, hey, yeah, I did. A 4-year commitment to get an education and play baseball at Vanderbilt. It had nothing to do with money. I'm not against players making money, but the lack of commitment and players deciding to leave midseason for other schools is a problem. To your point, Zach, I think we do start seeing athletes signing 2-year deals or 3-year deals even, or maybe it's a 4-year deal if it's sweet enough for the player to know that they're going to get playing time and that's kind of stuff too. But like I am 100% with Enrique here on this, on just his reaction here. It's one of those things where it used to be that you went to college to get an education, and that was first and foremost, right? And it's kind of interesting to see that Enrique is not an old guy, just got out of college, 2 years ago?
And 3 years ago.
To have that kind of reaction is just very interesting to me.
Yeah, and I mean, it used to be they were student athletes. Student came first. It is just professional now. Like you are a professional. You sign a deal. You have obligations. You are making so much money, and unfortunately it's gotten to the point where I've seen so much discourse on this where, the old funny adage of like, oh, they're just kids. Like they're just kids. Like, a college kicker, a quarterback throws an interception and you want to get mad, but you're like, okay, they're just kids. Now it's to the point where it's like, hey, we're paying that guy $4 million. He's getting paid more here than he is in the NFL in his first rookie contract. It's like, he's got to make that play. So we have turned it from, this is a stepping block. I mean, heck, Tom Brady talks about it all the time. He's like, there are no more programs in college. It is teams. You don't go. He's like, he went to Michigan for a 4-year program. And he's like, I was the backup. I learned the program front and back and knew it better than, the offense, the way we ran things better than the back of my hand. Year 2, I'm still going. Year 3, I'm finally getting reps. Year 4, you break through and every in and out of that program. So when you got to the NFL, you learned how to read defense. He's like, I'm 3 years into learning how to read this stuff, where now everything is so, I'll say, dumbed down, not because it's like, oh, the kids can't handle it. Half the kids weren't a part of the team last year. Right. They're learning the playbook all like each year. You have to restart. It's not okay. The freshmen that aren't going to play much anyway, they're going to have to learn. But by the time they're in year 2, 3, they're going to know the offense and we're going to be humming at all times.
There's no development.
So many teams lose early. Like Alabama got boat raced by a horrendous Florida State team to start the year.
Yeah.
Because half the team wasn't there last year. So they're learning things. There's no preseason to get going. That's where I think it's really just changed the landscape is we have a bunch of college football teams.
It's no wonder Nick Saban left. You know what I mean? Like he didn't want to put up with that bullshit.
No, that's why. Especially in college basketball, all the greats with it, Coach K, Williams, like all of them were just like, I'm out of here. Like this is not what I want.
No, absolutely not. And so that is your Around Maryland moment. You ready to get into baseball?
Yeah, let's roll.
Listen, we're an hour into the show, so we talked a ton of football. If you guys wanted to hear more about football stuff, Ravens related or otherwise, go to the first hour, top of the show, and let's get into some baseball. So as you guys know, we came back from winter meetings last week, and hey, listen, we brought a polar bear back with us. And the O's ain't done, apparently. And so we actually saw some of these guys out down in Orlando. One of them being Jim Bowden, who went on, MLB
Network Radio.
Network Radio, right? Which, by the way, they were right next to us down in Orlando. And he talked about this. He talked about the likely starting pitcher that could end up being with the Orioles. Now, there's been a lot of rumors sliding around, Zach, about maybe it's Mike King, maybe it's Valdez, maybe it's Suarez. Jim Bowden seems to think it's the latter two that are the potential landing spots for the Orioles. So let's take a listen to what Jim Bowden had to say about that.
It takes a little while for the pitchers who have the expectations of a cease contract. It takes a little while to understand, well, that may not be there for you, and this is what is there for you, and that sometimes can take a little bit. And then you have to start figuring out the options, right? The options are a deal that if you wanted 7, maybe the best you have on the table is 5. Maybe if you were expecting $30 million a year, you got 25 on the table, and then you got to start thinking of options. Do you want to take a shorter-term deal with a high AAV and an opt-out and go back in the market like Alonso just did, and others have, Adrian Beltre, others, and then do it again next year? With a pitcher, it's a little more risky than it is a position player. So a lot comes into that. I will say this. I feel confident that the Baltimore Orioles are going to land either Suarez or Valdez.
All right, so there you have it. That's from former GM Jim Bowden. You, me, and Ryan have talked a lot about this off air too. We've talked about it on the show plenty, but we also talked about it off air, and it just seems as if the most logical now Suarez has to be able to play ball, pun intended.
Yeah.
But it just seems like the most logical of those two would be Ranger Suarez because he's a much better fit for the clubhouse and for the team than a Valdez is, which, is a little bit more on the riskier side given some of his antics. So it seems like Suarez might be a foregone conclusion as long as the numbers are there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We've seen reports that, okay, our Suarez, he wants 7 years. No team wants to go near 7 with these guys. And I think
was that verified? Like, was that from reliable?
I'm not sure. Well, I have seen that from multiple that, Jim kind of mentioned it with the 7. I think these guys are looking for 7. I think every club, kind of what he mentioned is like, okay, so 5. What do you want for 5? Like, got it. You want 7. Okay, we were going to give you 4. We'll go to 5 now. Sort of that kind of thing. But I agree. I think Suarez is the perfect fit. And I don't think that's the only way the Orioles go. I am still of the belief that because of the Alonso signing, you're not going into spring training with Alonso, Mountcastle, and Mayo. That's you can't, you don't have enough room. Heck, you might not be able to go with 2 of them. And we all know Pete Alonso's posting up on day 1. That's not the guy that is the odd man out by any means. So now you have these trade assets. I think they do both. I think they do get a Suarez or a Valdez. We've seen the Michael King rumors. I could see him. It is fun, though. It's like, Orioles, Yankees, Dodgers, Yankees, big market. And every time now it's like, and the Orioles are in heavy pursuit of this guy. Yeah. The Orioles are, I joked about the past week or so. It went from, the Orioles are involved of like, great. Another reason to get disappointed, like another guy using us for leverage. Suddenly Alonso signs. Suddenly word comes out that, Schwarber accepted the terms of the Orioles deal. He just went back to the Phillies to see if they want to match it because he promised them that. The Orioles are competitive. They are going for it, and they will overpay to a point if it means they get these guys. I'll go even further. I think not only do the Orioles get one of those 2-3 guys, I think they also add one in the trade market as well, whether that's a Cabrera, Peralta, or Mackenzie Gore. I think they get 2 guys, and I really do think now, I know that's setting expectations high. I think that this front office is really going for it this year. And, maybe even better is this ownership is like, hey, we will put out the money because we want to win.
I'm so glad you said that, Zach, because Castrovins off from MLB Network actually talked about this and had a Christmas wish list for the Baltimore Orioles to make a trade for Tarek Skubal. And here's how he thinks that could happen.
A somewhat productive holiday season in Baltimore. Ryan Helsley, Taylor Ward, Pete Alonso. What's left on their wish list?
Well, I wish for them to acquire Tarek Skubal in a trade with the Tigers. And I don't know, this has gone on long enough without the Tigers refuting anything that my brain starts to go to, I guess he is going to get traded. I think that's crazy. And I think it would be crazy for the Orioles to be the team to do it. But I also think it was crazy for them to be the team to get Pete Alonso, 31-year-old trending towards DH when they have clear pitching needs or maybe more the priority for their finances. So if you want to get nuts, let's get nuts. They got the system to do it. It might be an ill fit in that the Tigers, you would assume, would want major league ready pitching. And the Orioles don't exactly have that in spades. But what if you did like a Jackson Holiday, like dangled him out there and brought in Tarek Skubal for a year, a la bringing in Corbin Burns for a year, only this time it gets you to the World Series? Like, come on. If we're going to revolve our interests around Pete Alonso's aging bat, let's really go for it.
Well, there you have it. There's somebody other than someone else on social media that says that they want Tarek Skubal in Baltimore. And look, I love the idea. I don't think it's going to happen. I definitely don't think it's going to happen for a Jackson Holiday. Nobody's dangling Jackson Holiday out there for a 1-year guy. Yeah. The last time he mentioned about Corbin Burns being traded, on a 1-year deal, but that was for Joey Ortiz and DL Hall. I just don't see how that trade happens with a Jackson Holiday. I think you get Tarek Skubal on 1 year for a lot less, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
If it is a Mountcastle, Kobe Mayo, and then some pitching that goes along with it, maybe some cash as well, I'm sure it has to be a pretty big deal. But we are only talking about 1 year for Skubal.
Yeah. And that's where I'm like, depending on the price, I don't like it for the Orioles because I feel like that just shrinks your window. You know, he talked about, okay, they're going within the Pete Alonso era. That realistically, that's 4 years, 3, that 5th year, you're kind of just hoping for the best. That 4th year, you're really hoping for the best as well. But that first 3 to 4 years is that prime, big bat, middle of the lineup. I don't know if you go all in for a year. I don't think it would make sense as much as you can talk about, oh, you got to, this is Tarik Skubal. It's the unequivocal best pitcher on the market in the league when he's healthy. I agree. But I just think that puts so much, with the playoffs, anything can happen. We've seen some of the best teams. Heck, we watched Corbin Burns go in there and pitch 8+ innings of 1-run ball, and the Orioles couldn't get a single run across. They lose that game. And it sucks, but, you hope that changes with Alonso being added to the lineup and all of that. But I just don't know if you can go all in on 1 year because suddenly it's next year, no year. If we're getting rid of some of our young talent now, if you give up a Jackson, well, that's where it's like, if it's the Kobe, but even like I would rather, and this, this could sound crazy, I would rather give up a fraction of what it costs for Skubal to get a guy like if you're going 1 year rental. I think 2 mid-level prospects could get you Freddie Peralta, and at that point it's like, I'd rather have Freddie Peralta's ceiling as my number 3 or 4 now than, hey, maybe he re-signs, maybe he doesn't, but I think there's a better chance of him re-signing in Baltimore than Tarik Skubal re-signing in Baltimore. I think it would be super fun for the year you had him, but I still know if that's the smart move to maximize your window. Now, if you were able to get him and they're like, the Orioles are signing him to a 2-year deal of $100 million. They're paying him $50 million a year for such a low year contract for an extension. You have him for 2-3 years. Then we're talking. Then it's like, okay, this is worth it. I just, like you said, I'm not giving up a Jackson Holiday or a key piece to what I think is the championship window to say, if we don't win it all this year, because now that pressure is, if you don't win it all this year, when are you winning it? If you just gave up a lot of your farm system, especially the top end guys, to go get 1 year of Skubal if it doesn't work out.
Here's what I can see end up if something like this with Tarik Skubal was going to happen. I could see it playing out in a similar way that the Red Sox did with Crochet, and that you trade for him, and then you immediately sign a long-term deal. Like you already have it in your mind that, hey, like, or maybe there's a deal going on with Skubal where, like, I'm not going to be traded. I don't want to be traded unless, I know that I'm going to go somewhere and get an extension immediately. Something like that I could see happening. But just a straight up, hey, we're going to trade you for a rental and see what happens. That doesn't seem very likely to me. If by some chance we saw a similar deal with Skubal as the Red Sox did with Crochet, I'd feel a lot better about that, to that window that you were speaking about, Zach.
Yeah, and then that's the whole thing, obviously, Boris being his agent, I just don't know if he signs an extension, because I think the only team I think he signs an extension with is, I know the Dodgers are in on him, but they want an extension done before he gets there, and I think that's a team where Boris is like, hey, they'll give you $500 million right now. Like, we don't have to worry about that. Like, they don't care. Like, they'll give you $500 million right now before you even step foot in LA, and they'll extend you. I could see him doing that. I don't know if the Orioles have the offer to make it enticing enough to sign. And once he's off in free agency, I don't know if he's coming back. We saw it with Corbin. Once guys hit free agency, especially Boris guys, most likely, less obviously Corbin's case a little different because he very openly wanted to go back to Arizona. Yeah. It just feels like it's tough to get guys once they hit free agency with Boris.
Yep, for sure. And so anyways, it's a fun conversation to have. Let's all be pleasantly surprised if something like that happens, but don't hold your breath. Yeah,
I'm still thinking if I'd go out on a limb, I think they get maybe Ranger Suarez, and I think that I have this weird gut feeling Mackenzie Gore's pitching in Baltimore next year. The Nationals just need first base help more than anything. I think you pair Kobe, maybe Povich, send him over there. You get 3 years of a guy who, when he's on, has had elite number one type stuff for the next, 2-3 years. I just think that works out really well. I still don't understand the Nationals thinking, because it seems like they're trying to trade everyone. We've seen Abrams is up for trade, Gore's up for trade. And it's like,
well, they're just blowing everything up. That's exactly what they're doing there. But here's what I like the Mackenzie Gore angle. I think for me too, the more likely trade ends up being with the Marlins, because they've already done it with the Marlins once. Edward Cabrera makes a ton of sense. So I think that I'm with you. Sign a Ranger Suarez, trade for like a Cabrera or Mackenzie Gore, and let's just get on to the spring training.
If Dean Kramer is your number 5, a guy like Dean Kramer, you are doing something really well. That is a damn good rotation if Dean Kramer is your 5th starter.
And everybody stays healthy.
Exactly. And that's not possible. That's the thing is, and I think that's where the depth of having, a Tyler Wells, of having guys, we'll see who would get traded, but they have young guys coming up. I think that's where the value of having depth, because the stat that still blows my mind is 17 pitchers started for the Dodgers last year. That's 17 crazy. Guys started for the Dodgers. I mean, it takes a village to get through a whole 162. That's why it's so impressive what guys like Framber do when he's going out there for 30 games a year. And heck, it's impressive, obviously, in a different sense, what Alonso's doing. Alonso's played like 450 straight games, It's those guys that just show up every day. Best abilities, availability still.
Yep. All right. So moving on. What else do we have going on in baseball, bro?
Man, we actually talked. Lots of small moves. I know Perdomo went to the Mets, but actually, here's something I wanted to show you. I actually saw this a few minutes ago. I wanted to bring it up. Have you seen the Dominican Republic's team for the World Baseball Classic?
Jared Carabas is all over it today. Yes.
Yep. Oh yeah. They might get Ellie De La Cruz. They have to. Ellie wants to play. The Reds, I guess, don't want him to play for injury purposes. Really? Yeah, because originally, I guess he announced that he's playing, and then they had to delete the post. The post got deleted, and he's no longer on the. So I guess maybe he didn't. Maybe he didn't get the approval. Listen, I think Team USA has got some dogs. Obviously, I'm pulling for Team USA. I think, Skeens and all them. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think Mark DeRosa is going to have those boys ready. Between Team Japan, between USA, and between the Dominican Republic, this team right here, I don't know how, they're not the favorites. I understand all the talent everywhere else, but, this is insanity when it comes to just the pure talent 1 through 9. I mean, Junior Caminero, they had to include both Machado and Caminero down here just off to the side, because one of them's not going to be able to start. One of them's going to be coming off the bench. And it's Caminero hit 40 home runs last year at 21 years old. Manny Machado's Manny Machado, and you might not have room for them.
Well, because you got Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm with you. Although I would put Manny Machado in that third base spot and then have Caminero and Ramirez switch off. But
I would too.
Manny Machado is just the best defender in that entire infield, if you ask me. But no, look, this team is stacked. We saw, the fireworks last time around with the World Baseball Classic. I'm pumped to see this play out. You're right. The U.S. has got some dogs in it too, with Gunnar and Skeens. Bryce Harper, right?
Yeah, USA right now is Corbin Carroll, Pete Crow Armstrong, Gunnar Henderson, Aaron Judge, Cal Raleigh, Kyle Schwarber, Paul Skeens, Will Smith, Bryce Terang, Bobby Witt Jr. So it's going to be star-studded all around. This tournament's going to be incredible. This tournament is going to be unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm here for it. It's crazy. It's like, we always take time off in the Super Bowl when the Super Bowl ends. It's going to be real hard to do that with this World Baseball Classic going on.
Yeah, real hard. I mean, when we're down for spring training, spring training's not even going to be the main subject. It's going to be everyone just talking about just the World Baseball Classic, because it's the talent this year for just all these teams. I mean, I'm trying to find the current roster for Japan, but I mean, they've got, actually, funny enough, Sagano just committed to Japan.
Oh, really?
He's going to pitch as well. I'm trying to see if I don't see an updated.
Obviously, you got Yamamoto, you got Shohei.
Yeah, you have all those guys. You have it. I don't think Sasaki is participating at the moment. Yeah, I think something with just him focusing on other.
You know what the Japan could do? They could bring back Ichiro, and he would still play at a high level for the World Baseball Classic.
He'd get 5 singles. Like, he would go out there.
Well, he can still play outfield. That's the crazy part. He's still throwing 60, 70 miles an hour. He can still do it.
Yeah, and then I see someone asking just for the here's the current. We obviously don't have all the names officially. More going to opt in, especially as guys sign.
Yeah.
They're going to opt in more. I've seen a few people like
I don't know
Max.
how Bryce Harper isn't on here yet. I would be surprised if he's not.
Yeah, he has to be. I saw Max Fried declined to be on the team, which kind of sucks. I feel like that would have been really nice to have Skeens and Fried, but especially, I will say, for pitchers, I get it. It's why Merrill Kelly was our best pitcher last time around. It's because, like, I think Paul Skeens kind of gets that special treatment of, like, the Pirates. Everyone was like, hey, you guys aren't using him correctly. Can we at least all enjoy Paul Skeens as a nation? Like, can we have him pitching in some actual baseball games? Ooh, this Pete Alonso, I would love if Pete joined this. I would love that.
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be fun.
Listen, there's a guy. There's a lot of good U.S. players. I was trying to think. Garrett Cole healthy?
I don't think he's going to pitch because of that. Guys that I would love. It's going to be intriguing to see. Trout every year usually is on it. I was just about to say. I think they have to add Trout, especially with. Yeah, I mean, but just straight up. You know, you talk. I'm assuming Corbin Carroll probably leads off. They're going to figure out the whole lefty righty situation. But then you actually no, it's probably Bobby Witt Jr. leads off. I'd assume that then you have Gunnar second, Judge third, Cal Raleigh fourth, maybe Schwarber's batting fourth. I mean, the lineups are going to be unbelievable. It's going to be so much fun to watch.
Max Fried straight. He's just not a Patriot, you know? He's just not.
For avoiding the WBC. I do hope, though, and I think it's getting to that point after how good the 2023 one was, where the World Baseball Classic hopefully becomes a thing where everyone, as baseball players are growing up, they're like, I want to play for Team USA in the World Baseball Classic and something like that. Because, I mean, for guys like in Japan, Shohei straight up said that was more enjoyable than a World Series. He's like, that meant so much to him to win the World Baseball Classic for Japan. So I hope that becomes a big thing of like, hey, especially it used to be, it felt like it was just kind of like, okay, you know, Dominican Republic will put out a decent team. Japan's going to put out a decent team. Team USA will put out whatever guys went to opt in, and then we'll play. Now it's like, this is way better than the All-Star game. You know, this is just straight unreal. Like they are playing for something. The environments are incredible.
Dude, it's the World Cup. You know what I mean? Like
literally,
it's becoming that. And I know that's crazy to say because the World Cup is by far and large the biggest sporting event in the world. But I think that it's growing in so much popularity is what I'm trying to point out. That like it's almost like you suck if you're not in it. Like you're kind of a trash human if you're not in it.
Exactly.
So like,
it's like
my thing is like I think I could see a point in time where we see guys like Tarek Schoolball, some of these elite pitching, some of these elite players in this, and that is the World Baseball Classic. Everybody's watching it. It's kind of like one of those things where, oh my gosh, what am I going to do between, November and March? It's watch the World Baseball Classic. It's just one of those things where I think it really does continue to just blow up. Really, you know what really set it off too? I think it was like one of those catalysts was that Adam Jones, Manny Machado moment. That's
Yeah.
one of the
Oh,
bigger moments of the World Baseball Classic where Adam Jones robs that home run from Manny Machado. So
Mhm.
I think, listen, man, I'm excited. I'm pumped for it. I think more and more guys will start joining it as this thing grows in popularity, because I can only imagine what it looks like, not this World Baseball Classic, but the next one, how crazy it starts to get.
Oh yeah, especially because I'm sure there's going to be some incredible games between Japan, Dominican Republic, Team USA. Like it's just going to be some. I feel like it's going to be an incredible environment. It's going to be one of those things where it's like, how can you not want to be a part of this? You know,
Oh my
you literally
God, yeah.
had. I forget, it was Mookie Betts was talking to Mike Trout, and Mike Trout in the finals walked up to him and was like, is this what the playoffs are like? Like, as Mike Trout's ever been, he's like, is this like,
Damn.
and Mookie was straight, like, he was like, this is more intense. He's like, this is feels like so much more pressure because you're playing for a whole country. You're not just playing, you know, you
Right.
play for the Dodgers, whatever. Yeah, you have a massive fan base, but there are 29 other fan bases in the country that are hoping you lose. You know, it's Team USA, which that's a guy we need to make sure Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, those guys. I don't see a first baseman on here,
Like,
so you
what's
got to
going
get
on?
you got to get Freddie, Pete Alonso. Somebody's got to be there. We need
Yes.
more. We need the Dodgers to step up. I mean, I know they got Will
There's
Smith.
so
They're
many
trying
good
to-
American players that, like, look, man, like we suck in a lot of other world sports. Like we, as in the U.S., like this is one where we can be like, hey, listen, we're going to dominate this shit. There's so many good U.S. players where the U.S. can still dominate the World Baseball Classic. It just needs to happen. So, like, whoever organizes this, whoever goes out and brings the players in, do some good convincing, because can definitely run away with this. All right, so got baseball out of the way. Let's get to tonight's game. And tonight's game coverage is brought to you by none other than Hollywood Casino out there in Charlestown Races in
West Virginia.
I have to wait till you start so that, like, I can catch up with you. That's how we need to do it.
It's close enough, you know. Virtual, we try our best. But yeah, tonight, Steelers versus Dolphins. It is going to be a cold one in Pittsburgh, and the Dolphins need to establish the run. Sorry, going Devon Achane. Over 79.5 rushing yards. I watched James Cook run for 200 versus the Steelers, literally spamming the exact same play over and over and over and over again. Get into a rhythm, get these guys off balance. I think this is a big spot for Achane to really take advantage of. And, you know, at the end of the day, yes, Miami does a lot of cool things offensively. They are built, and Mike McDaniel has built such a foundation on the run game. That is their bread and butter. I think they have to rely on the run game tonight. I don't think we see a big game from Tua. So just hand the ball to Devon Achane, get the ball in his hands, get it in space, and let's see if the Dolphins can maybe help out the Ravens a little bit. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, and my fantasy team.
Yeah. I mean, the more touchdowns, the better. More touchdowns.
The more touchdowns that Devon Achane scores, the worse off the Steelers defense is, which helps out my fantasy team. So
helps everyone wins.
You do both. So shout out to Hollywood Casino and Charlestown Races in West Virginia, and shout out for supporting the show. Look, this is a big game, right? Like we obviously talked about Bolly's best bets right there, but look, man. If the Steelers lose, puts the Ravens back in first place for the division. They're right back in the playoffs where they should be. I think it's very real. Look, the Dolphins last 5 games, they've won 5 straight, correct?
Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, they were kind of a joke 5 weeks ago. They're not so much a joke anymore. And the Steelers have given up some rushing yards. And so I mean, a guy like Achane, I think it could end up giving it to him. Screw 79 yards. Let's see 160. Give me double that.
For real. I mean, I think it is. I mean, with Achane, so he's such a big play threat where he kind of has, I mean, to a much bigger extent because of how much he gets the ball. But it's like Keaton Mitchell, how we feel about him with the Ravens. Like, oh, if he breaks through that first line and now suddenly you got to catch him, that's the issue. Stopping him behind the line, stopping him at the line of scrimmage for these 3-4 yard gains. That helps, you know, the Dolphins are going to take that, but also the Steelers, they're like, okay, because the second he's in that second Yeah, that's
Plus no
massive.
TJ Watt.
Yeah,
That's a
it's
big
gonna
deal.
Yeah, so big play threat for Achane. Get him in space, and let's make something happen.
I like it. I think that's it, Zach.
Yeah,
Is that the
another
show?
efficient show. It's crazy.
We're 30 minutes under yet again.
Yeah, it happens. It's every time. It's like clockwork.
It is every time. What else? Give us some shout outs, guys. What in the chat? Let us know where you're watching from and or predictions for tonight's game. Whether it's a score, whether it's Achan, you're riding with Bali. We got a couple minutes left here. Nick Notes says the Steelers win. We got to win every game from here on out. Don't like that pressure.
Not because I don't think the Steelers win against the Lions next week. The Lions have to win out. Lions have to win out. It's going to be in Detroit. Lions have to win that ball game. I think they lose that.
They're not going to win that game without TJ Watt.
Exactly. So if the Ravens, I actually see it's funny if the Steelers lose, they can win tonight. If they lose next week and the Ravens beat the Patriots, funny enough, the week 17 game against the Packers means absolutely nothing. Win or lose, it's week 17 is for the division. So,
perfect
which would be
Sam here because it's like he said, watching from Omaha, Steelers Ravens 18 will decide the North. I'm not, and kind of goes against what you were just saying. So it might not happen.
Yeah. So that would be fun. That would be.
I don't know about that.
We all knew this was going to happen. The second the schedule came out, you knew Week 18 was going to be for the division. You just had a weird feeling. So, I'm excited about it. I like this. Nick goes, this would be fun. Oh, we're seeing a lot of people. I mean, I'm sure there is some little bias, but
we got some 24-17 watching from Virginia Beach.
Ooh,
H.N. goes off for 100+ yards. I think that's more likely. I think he goes for 100 yards tonight.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I hope. Heck, I hope. I just think establishing the run is going to be so important for the Dolphins. I mean, it is for every team, but I mean, the Steelers, we've watched them get absolutely gashed by the run at times this year. So why not, put a little pressure on them? They're giving up 125 rush yards a game, which is towards the bottom. It's in the bottom 10, I believe.
I guess Brooks thinks you're sharing secrets with everybody else that you're not sharing with the rest of the class. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I didn't see. I didn't understand what that reference was. I'm not gonna lie. I think that one went over my head. I saw that. And I was like, is this? Yeah, I was like, is this gonna be? I was surprised by
Southeast PA. All right, we got some score predictions there from Southeast PA. From Maryland. Okay.
I like that we're all just. Yeah.
I like this one too. Give me that one.
That would be fun. That would be fun. I would love that. Just Aaron Rodgers. Actually, he would have to make it more about himself. So.
Oh, I like this too. Miami breaks the cold jinx. I think, what is it? Miami hasn't won any games under Mike McDaniel that's with 40-degree weather or colder. Isn't that right?
Yeah, something like that. And I think it's, why not now? Why not now? So
it'll be a perfect night to do it. Save my season.
That would be. I do think that they're going to struggle against this Dolphins run game. I just think the Dolphins, Mike McDaniel, it's just like a million different motions that all end in the same run. But if they can get the Steelers, I think TJ Watt being out is a massive deal for that.
Yes.
It just feels like that changes their defense completely. Yeah.
Oh, two is over 0-5 in cold weather games.
Yep. Something's got to give. Something.
Well, hey, listen, nobody says he's got to throw the ball. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Just hand the ball off. And let the other players do the work, and then it's easy.
Easy.
Love it.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for today's show. Shout out to our sponsors, Merit Clubs, Charm City, and then also Charlestown Races. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. And thanks to you guys for supporting the show. A Ryan Ripken show. I feel like the support comes like twofold when Ryan's not here. Well, that's just
It really does. It does. People,
At least that's
people
what
enjoy
it feels like. Could be making it up.
People just enjoy sitting down talking ball. Appreciate it. Appreciate that. And then I did see this from earlier, Nick notes.
Nice.
17 months. Those are crazy. It's crazy when we get ones like that, and it's like, crap. We've been doing this for a minute now. Like 17 months ago.
That's right. So all right, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. You are awesome. We will be back at this tomorrow. Well, Zach will be back at this tomorrow, live at 5, unless something else breaks before then, like a crazy signing from the Orioles. Fingers crossed.
Would be cool.
And listen, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. As always, hit the like and subscribe button on your way out the door, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
Peace.